Who is Daniel al-Kumisi? Kwamisi. Kwam. Hebrew. Kwam. Root. So you see Kwam spelled different ways. This is originally how I learned it in the name al-HaWah Kwam or Eliakim, which really stood out in my journey, and I applied it to my journey. And some call me Eliakim, some call me al-HaWah Kwam. I named my son Eliakim al-HaWah Kwam. HaWah, the creator rises, raises. Kwam, we say Kwam. So some spell it with a Q-A-M. I like both spellings. I like to keep it OG. To arise. So sometimes you see it with a K, right? Hey, this is one of those drops. I don't even know what I'm going to call it, man. We're just going to surf the wave on this one. We're going to dig on the Sefer HaMitzvot, dig on some things, man. Dig on some stuff, man. Just enjoy Shabbat Shalawam to the home team. I appreciate everybody, man, that's from the turf. Everybody that's from the soil. All my natural ones, man. All my real ones. Everybody choosing up. All the tribe, drop nation, HaWah. All the dragon sponsors on the wall, keeping the water flowing at 432 the drop, HaWah. All the guardians on the wall, from plane to plane, HaWah. Halal, HaWah. Shabbat Shalawam. Kwam. So really it sounds like come here, come. Like, so if you're sitting down, I say come. I'm saying get up and come over here. You know what I mean? Come. So that's come. Kwam, come. And you can spell it with a K. To arise, to stand, come. Stand, come. Come. Kwam. Daniel el-Kwam. Daniel the riser. Daniel the raiser. Hey, this document's crazy, man, if you've been looking at it already. You'll be like, what the hell? Hey, I saw this and I said, man, this must be some drop. For real, because look at what they did to it. It's like they've inserted in a fuck you algorithm where they say bullshit and fuck all day throughout all the adjectives. And it's a serious document, but somebody inserted a bunch of fucks and bullshits all over the place just to distract you from getting the drop. This is how serious this drop is becoming, my people, because I ain't never seen no shit like this before. Look at how he reads. Daniel al-Kumisi was one of the bullshit fucking most prominent early scholars. How can he be a bullshit scholar and a prominent scholar? All right, so somebody has inserted a bunch of fucks and bullshits throughout this entire website called johncave.co. And you dig on it. You got all the links below. Click on the featured links, man. All right, Daniel al-Kumisi. Kwam was one bullshit fucking most prominent early scholars of the Karaite Judaism. He flourished at the end of the bullshit fucking 9th or at the beginning of the bullshit fucking 10th. All right, so I'm going to have to read this without all the hijack. Normally I say dodge your own hijack, but I'm going to have to dodge this hijack for you on this one, y'all. All right, get behind me. Let's go. Let's go. So Daniel was one of the most prominent early scholars of Karaite Judaism. Karaites. We're going to get back to that. He flourished at the end of the 9th or at the beginning of the 10th century. So I just want to get back in the mindset of the Anan ben David as we get into the Sefer HaMitzvot again. Back into the time frame, and remember the phantoms and the duplicates. Remember the 3 major time shifts, right? That Anatoly Fomenko breaks down 333 years back. So you can give or take 333 years respectively as one time shift. So an event could be labeled like this, 8th century, all right, 700s. And you can add 333 years or so, and you'll be closer to the actual event when it took place in really the 11th century or so, all right? Or you could take the other time shift, 1,054 years or so you can add that or take that away. So something might be happening in the 200s or 300s or the 3rd or 4th century that really occurred in the 11th, 12th century because they added another time shift, 1,000 years, 1,053, 1,054. Then you got a third time shift, chronological time shift of 1,778 years. So something's happening way in the BCs, like King David. It's happened way, 700 BC. But they done shifted him back 1,800 years. So you got to add that to get to 0, all right? And then you add another 1,000, and now you're back in the 11th century, back in the 12th century. But it's the same David, right? It's the same priest king. It's the same Anan. It's the same Moshe. Reflected 3 or 4 times or 5 or 6 times all over the place in these time shifts. So we dodge, the hijack so that we can see in between the timelines and put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Let's go. I'm just reading. I stumbled on his website. So, HaWah, and it connected right into the Prester John drop, right into what we're about to get with the Sefer HaMitzvot, because who wrote the book of the code, right? Who wrote the code? All right, let's keep going on David right quick. Let's go. So David was one of the most prominent early scholars. Whenever they say that, they're talking about a real one. Daniel. So the question is, are we talking Daniel? And remember Daniel in the Prester John investigation, we covered that it looks likely that Daniel, Kiliab, is the second son of King David. Kiliab, Chileab, Kiliab. So what's happening during the Babylonian captivity? Does Nebuchadnezzar or Salmanazar or Genghis Khan have Daniel, King David, or Prester John's son in captivity? Is that how he won the war? More on more? Did he kidnap one of Prester John's sons, his second boy? Now you got Daniel, if he's the son of David, is the brother of King Solomon, is the brother of Absalom, and all that going on. So just put this all in perspective. This is Solomon's brother. If this is the David or the Daniel, and we're going to cover some things, and we got a lot to figure out, but these are the questions we're coming across in our investigation. All right. He flourished in the beginning of the 9th or the end of the 9th or the 10th century. So they're putting them 800s or 900s. So you can add 300 years to that, and you're getting what? 1200s, 1300s. Let's go. When was his Babylonian captivity? Some say it was in the 1300s. Right there. He was a native of Damagan, the capital of the province of Kumis or Kwamis in the former state of Tabaristan, present-day Semnan province, all right? in Iran, as it is shown. So he's right there in the Persian situation, right? Persian captivity, Babylonian captivity. Let's go. And is shown by his two surnames, the latter of which is found only Ker, accused of Kerkasani. So he is a Kerkasani. That's one of his surnames. All right. Trust me, all this is gonna start popping out. I've been doing some minor recon and I've seen it already. You know what I mean? So Shabbat Shalawam, we just surfing away. Let's go. So remember that he's a Kerkasani. Remember the Q's are also K's, just like this K and this Quam could be a Q or a K, like cum. See how they say cum, 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 Quam or cum, cum, Qum, cum. Let's go. This is too real. This is too good. Because they got to keep fucking and bullshitting all over the place, right? They got to keep their bullshit going all throughout this shit, right? The shitty fucking Ananites. I mean, damn. The bullshit fucking fools. All right, let's go, man. They on their bullshit right now. Don't let them distract you, Drop Nation. Let's get this gold, man. Let's get our gold back. So remember, Daniel has two surnames, the latter of which is found only in Kerkasani. All right. Found only in Kerkasani. And then we're going to dig on this other Kerkasani. Let me see something right quick. That takes us to Jacob. All right. So either Kerkasani is his surname, or they're saying that Kerkasani is writing about him and mentioning his surname. We're going to get back to that. Now it says his attitude towards Anan ben David and his violent opposition to the Ananites. So what's happening between him and this Anan ben David? Now, Anan ben David, just keep thinking of it further, because all these are Davids, right? If Daniel is the son of David, he's a David. Solomon's a David. All of these are Davids. And there's Anan, right? Now, whoever this, translates to in script, you got Anion Kingdom popping up, right? That they had to switch around. Anion Kingdom, could it just be the Anan Kingdom? Kingdom of Anion, all right? Strait of Anan, Strait of Anion. Remember the mythical straits of Anion? Huh? Let's get it bigger, man. Come on. Let me get it bigger. Oh, man. All right, man. Full screen. Bigger, man. Yeah. All right. Got all this. Pull up these links, man. We about to get in it. The mythical straits of Anion to be found. All right. The relationship between the new Spanish discoveries and the Terra Nova and the Asian continent was not yet fathomed, but all of Marco Polo's kingdoms were placed close at hand in the northwest. Listen, all of Marco Polo's kingdoms were placed in the northwest, ready to be absorbed by forthcoming expeditions. So they were doing expeditions to all of these kingdoms that Marco Polo was talking about. Now he's working for Genghis, right? So he's scouting for Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan. But Genghis Khan stole the Khan from Prester John. So where are these kingdoms that Marco Polo was pointing out? Developing the idea a little further, after the discovery of the mainland north of the isthmus, we find that the maker of the MS map, this is now in the British Museum, we find that the maker of this MS map has placed Prester John, Priest King Prester John, and his neighbors not far from Mexico. The name of the maker of this map is not known, but it bears evidence of having been drawn around 1530, and it placed Prester John not very far from Mexico. Oh, can we zoom in? Can we get some more drop? Notice this is in the British Museum, people. 1530, they say, right? Marco Polo's kingdoms. You see Prester John, right? This would be the Strait of Anion or the Bering Strait. This is North America, South America. This is how it connects to Asia. What else do you see? You see Mexico, you see Cuba, you see Cathay, right? So when we talk Kara, Katai, and when they talk Karaism, they're putting the issues and the isms on some shit because they know that they're not the real deal. Let me eat some food-ish. Am I eating real food? No. So isms and issues let you know it's play. But they can't claim the real thing. This is Cathay. These are the Kara. Kara means black in Turkic. So you're talking black people, right? Or copper color Khans, Khan. Prester John right here in the Four Corners in 1530. This is what they were invading. Columbus was looking for the Grand Khan. Genghis Khan's invading Prester John. Is all this the same shit? Let's go. Let's go. So when we talk Daniel, and if we talk Prester John, we talk King David, then Daniel will be a son of Prester John, right? And Prester John is holding down America, Khan. And all this is happening in America. That's why you are the copper color races found here. You're the copper color Khans found here. Now, Daniel was having beef with another son of David. If we follow that, storyline, let's surf the wave. This would be his brother. A non-son of David would be the brother of Daniel. If this is the Daniel, all right? Which might, help explain the family beef that's going on. Because we know that Absalom rose up against David in the scripture, right? So the family was at war. His attitude to Anan ben David and his violent opposition to the Ananites, right? So the Ananites are followers of Anan. They say the first Karites. Kara, again, means black. When you talk Kara Kata, you're talking black Cathay. This is very, blurry, but this is Cathay, Katai, Katay, Katai. You see India Superior right here in the middle. All right, so when you talk Kara Katai, you're talking the land of Prester John. You're talking Black Cathay or Cathay. Prester John is the ruler of 3 Indias, Khan. Uh-oh, let's go. And we're gonna get on this Jacob Carcassani. So he had this position against his brother. Now they had varying outlooks or perspectives on how they were going to flow. You know what I mean? And we're going to get more into that. So the first Karites, Anan's followers and immediate successors are characteristic of this place in Karaism. Karaism. Remember, we're just talking the Kara. At first, he esteemed Anan highly. So first, he looked highly on Anan, calling him Rosh Hamaskilim, chief of the scholars. So first, Daniel was calling Anan chief scholar, but later he despised him and called him chief fool, chief of the fools. All right. So neither Daniel's opinions were respected by the Carians, or nevertheless, Daniel's opinions were respected by the Carians. So you got Anam and David, who's the, one of the first Carians, and then you got Daniel, who's also respected by the Carians. So both of them are Karakatai. All right, they're both of the Karakatai Mongol family, Great One family. They're both most likely brothers, it looks like to me, you know what I mean, so far, which is why, even though they're beefing, Daniel still has a whole, group of Carians rocking with Daniel. You got a whole group of Carians rocking with Anan. Remember, the Carians, let's go. Pull up this link, historytoday.com, search for Prester John. This is pick it up right here. This Prester John, the bishop, concluded, was said to be of the ancient race, right? So they keep calling you right to your face, so-called Negro in America, so-called Negro in America. They're telling you right to your face bone who you are. This ain't play. This is America, people. This map is in a British museum in 1530, people. My people, my people. They keep saying that you are the most ancient race, man. All right, let's go. You are the most ancient race of those magi who were mentioned in the gospel. All right, so dodge the hijack, but they had to keep mentioning you. Just like that Jesus had to call himself a son of David. Daniel's a son of David. Kiliab. They had to link themselves in with the Karakatai and to rule the same nation as they did. All right, let's pick it up from here. There is a certain basis of contemporary fact behind the odd story. In 1141, now this is when it really seems to be popping off. 12th century, man. So much duplicates and phantoms coming out the 11 and 1200s. Who they call the Seljuk Sultan Sinjar. We just talking more on more. This would be a more, right? Islam, right? Let's go. So somebody was against this, and it wasn't no Christian. In one of the decisive battles in the history of Central Asia, was defeated at Katwan near Samarkand by a Mongol people, the who? Karakatai. So we just getting some backstory before we get into the Sefer HaMitzvot. We always do that so that when we read this document is, basically expanding the principles behind the commandments in Exodus 20 into 613 positive and negative commandments, meaning, thou shalt do this. That's positive. Negative is thou shalt not do this. All right. So we'll get back into that as to who wrote that, because again, they say that Moses wrote that, or Moses Maimonides, Moses son of Maimon, Rambam, which is very similar to Amram, right? The Moses in the BCs, Amram. Very similar, right? Amram, Rambam, all right. And then they say that Anam ben David wrote the code, the same book, Sefer HaMitzvot, in 770. So did Moses Maimonides write it in 1168? Or did Anam ben David write it in 770? Is Moses David split up and given different names and titles? That's a possibility. The way that this is unfolding, anything's possible. So we're just surfing the wave, asking questions. We don't have all the answers. We never said we did. Just enjoy the investigation that Drop Nation has been putting together brick by brick. Now, the Karakatai, who had recently migrated to Central Asia from their previous home in North China. North China. India Superior, right? North America, South America. This is another old map, 1548. So you got a map here from 1530 saying what? India Superior, Prester John, Cathay, Mexico, and much, much more. Zapangu and all this. Japan, China is all right here, man. Japan, China, La China, La China, La China. So why is China here in 1548? Why is Cathay, Cateo? What does Cathay mean? It means a pure land, pure land. What does Kalalus mean? Promised land, pure land. Why is Cathay exactly where Kalalus would be? Why is this exactly where Kalalus, promised land, would be? Why is that exactly where Prester John is? Cathay, India Superior? Who is Prester John? Are we just talking David? Immortal David that will rise again? Search for HaWah and David, your Khan. Mexico, Moshe, Meshi. What does Moses have to do with David? Why is Meshi, Moshe, Mexico, right by David? Are they just the same people? Because you got a priest king and a priest king. Let's go. India Superior, Cathay, China, China, China. Tangu. Remember, it's a lot about that Tangu. Remember that? But let's go, let's go. We're just talking about Quam, to rise, Kum. Kara, Cathay is Katai. Katai is Cateo. Cateo, Katao is Katai, is Cathay, is Pure Land, is Kalalus, is the land of Prester John. 1530, British Museum. You dig on it. India Superior. This is the superior India where it's all happening at. Let's go. Because this map maker has placed Prester John not very far from Mexico. Meshi Moshe. Got it. Exilarch David the sixth Soslan of Babylon and Georgia, son of Raja Hiraja the second Jadaran. I mean, we're just talking the 12th century. Who's Raja Hiraja? Chola Jadaran. Oh, Prester John. Prester John. Did a black man discover the fountain in you? Did a black man a kara? Kara means black. Rock with me. Let's go. Kara, Katai, Cathay, Black Cathay, a land of a pure land of copper colored Khans, all right, who had migrated to Central Asia from their previous home in North China. China. Where are they going? Because this would be Asia, this would be India. You get it? They're just talking right here. Let's go. Did a black man discover the fountain youth? I'm just talking about this black priest king. Everybody know he a brother. Prester Wang, Prester John, Emperor de los Abyssinios, Ethiopia. Which one? Which one? We just surfing away, baby. Just surfing away. HaWah. Kara, black man, Thai, who had recently migrated, all right, from North China, Khan. Because China is Kana. The CH is not ch, it's k. Kena. So you can talk about the kins. Uh-oh. Now, when you dig on the Kins dynasty, you're talking about the Kin domination. It's one branch remained under the Kin. What does the Kin have to do with the Kenites or the Rechabites? Remember that Prester John drop? So this was the mixed multitude that was rocking with Moshe or David. Reuel or Jethro would be a Kenite, not a Midianite like they say. He's a Kenite. So this is Jethro's group. This is Moses' father-in-law's group, the Kenites. And they're also connected with the Rechabites. Those were the ones that were too pure to drink wine. You know what I mean? So what does it say about Kara, Katai? The Kara, or Black Katai, were a branch of the Kathans, Cathay, who had ruled over North China. Cathay. Sometimes they say Cathnis, right? Because when you talk Asia, you're talking Russia or the Rus. Who's ruling Asia? Who's ruling Rus? Wisdom is the conqueror of fortune. Who's rocking with Mama? Who's rocking with the Tao? Wakanda forever. Who my Naga? Oh, who my Naga? Oh, who my Naga is rocking with the Tao? Who are the Russians? Rus. Mongols are the Russians. Mongol means great ones. We're just talking Cathay, right? Because this is Clan Ross. Rus. Found in Cathay or Cathnis. So the Rus are found in Cathay, Cathnis. Cathay, Katai, Kara, Katai, Prester John. Who are the Rus? We're just talking about the lost tribes of Israel identity. David, Solomon, Prester John, priest, king. Did a black man discover the fountain of youth? I mean, everybody's searching for him. Everybody's looking for Prester John. I mean, I didn't have a title for this. I was just surfing the wave, but it really looks like we are digging on Priest King Prester John. And we're also gonna do a dismount with the Sefer HaMitzvot too, man. But this might be a PJ, man. By the end of the day, I didn't mean for it to be, but it seems like HaWah is bringing us right home, right back home. Prester John, Ame'rican. Kara Katai, Cathay. Let's go. So the Kara are the black Katai, branch of Katans, who ruled over North China. Where's North China? This is La China. What's North China? Cathay, Katai, Cathnis, Wakanda forever. Prester John, the land of Prester John, North China. Uh-oh. Branch of the king. Look, let's go. It is from the name of these people, the Katai, the name in which Marco Polo gave China. Marco Polo gave his name to China. So you know this is play. Then they took that name and called it another place on the other side of the world. When in reality, Marco Polo's right over here. In the land of Prester John. Did a brother discover the fountain of youth? They're looking in Africa, everywhere in that Asia, until they get all over here, way over here to India Superior. Ethiopia, which one? Everybody's digging on the ladder. There's this King David drop. They're hearing these Davids before Genghis Khan took the title David. One Magi who was said to be black, making him the Ethiopia's king, ninth great grandfather, something like that. So they're trying to trace ancestry to this black man. I mean, this ain't no play. They know Prester John is a brother. So when you see a map like this gotta wake you up, my naga. This gotta wake you up. Because this whole land is named after a black man or a Kara. A Kara. A Kara. Kara means black, right? A Kara. A Katai. And that's the name Marco Polo gave to China. Cathay is derived. Cathay is Katai. Let's go. Who's Daniel? Kwan. Who's Daniel Kwan, man? Wow. Who's Daniel Kwan? Now he's having this beef with his bro Anan over some particulars, all right? You got the link so you can really dig on it. So Daniel favored a rigorous interpretation of the Torah. So they're saying Daniel was keeping it tighter than Anan in a sense. And that was their discrepancy, was who was keeping the Tanakh better. It wasn't about the Talmud, because both of them are Kariots, and Kariots by definition don't rock with the Talmud. So when you're looking at Anan ben David, let's see, hold up, man. My link. Eighth century sage, right? Founder of the Ananites. Pull up these links. This is encyclopedia.com, letting you know. Regarded by the Karites, right? Kara, Cathay, Kara Black. A 10th century Kari account related by al-Kirkasani. Remember the Kirkasanis? Go back here. Remember this Kirkasani, which is, we're going to get into the, this is how they spell it as well. Kirkasani. All right, let's go. Kirkasani. So a 10th century Kari account related by al-Kirkasani or Jacob, all right, places his appearance between 754 and 775. So they're saying he wrote the code in 770. He wrote the Sefer HaMitzvot in 770. The report states that Anan was the first to bring to light a great deal of the truth about the scriptural ordinances. He was learned of the lore of the rabbinites, or the priest, all right, the priesthood. They tried their utmost to assassinate him, man. But the Almighty prevented them from doing so. So he was protected by the Creator. He just had an internal beef with his bro Daniel as to how rigorously to keep certain aspects of the Tanakh, the Torah specifically. And they definitely were against, you know what I'm saying, the Talmud. And they would definitely be against some New Testament situation for sure, because all this is just happening. There's no room for none of that lie and bullshit that the New Testament's talking about when this is just happening in the 12th century, 13th century. Because Anan wrote the code just like Moses Maimonides. All right. Moses Maimon. So there's a lot around these particular books, and it's not just the Sefer HaMitzvot. It's many books that this David, Anan ben David, who is Moses Maimonides, son of Amram or Maimon. All right, put it all together now. I mean, we're, inching, steps closer to seeing what's really popping. This Mishnah Torah, review of the Torah, was conceived in an all-inclusive Halal compendium. This is from myjewishlearning.com. Moses Maimonides, right, ranks among the greatest, most innovative Jewish legal texts of all time. Well, what about Anan ben David? Because they're saying the same thing about him. And they're writing the same exact book. Moses ben Maimon, right? Also known as Rambam. Don't this sound like Amram? Moses in the Bible, right, is son of Amram. This is Rambam. Come on, man. The Mishnah Torah is introduced by Sefer HaMitzvot, Book of Commandments. And this is what we've been digging on. We are going to come with a part 4, where we just focus on this all exclusively, But it's the Sefer HaMitzvot, Book of Commandments, right? Breaking down the 10 Commandments, or 9 spiral into 613. And we said, did Moses come down from that mountain with just 10 or 9? You know what I mean? Or did he come down with 613 specific that they sort of, pushed together very vaguely into what they call 10 commandments today? Yeah, 248 positive and 365 negative, making 613. Now, this is a new translation of Rambam, who is Moses' definitive work. Now, this Moses, my man, follow me now. Again, this Moses, my man, is said to be writing this Torah, Book of Commandments. Now, whether he's revising it, they're saying he's revising it, but maybe they're just hiding the fact that it's really going down right here. This Maimonides, this Moshe. But he's writing the Sefer HaMitzvot, right? And this is all happening when? In the 12th century, early 13th century, but the book is really being written around 1168. So this is 12th century, 1168 is when the book was written. According to this, Moses Maimon writes this Sefer HaMitzvot, which Maimonides actually wrote some years earlier. Maimonides enumerated the traditional 613 laws or mitzvot of the Torah. Sefer HaMitzvot, right? Let's go back to Anan ben David. Anan ben David, all right, ruler of the Ananites, the Cariot, right? Head of the Jews, he's an exilarch during Babylonian exile. Now, we got a lot of evidence pushing this Babylonian exile situation into the 12th century, 13th century. Even Anatoly Fomenko is pushing it right there. So, hey, that means this Anan ben David is really rocking in the 12th century. And he wrote the same code. In 770, Anan wrote the definitive code of his order, the Sefer HaMitzvot, Book of Precepts. So he wrote the Sefer HaMitzvot. In 770, did we find a glitch in the matrix, people? Because who else wrote the code? Sefer HaMitzvot. Maimonides actually wrote some years early. And he's popping off when? So how can Moses write the code 400 years after Anan ben David wrote the code? See? These are interesting questions to ask. And that's all we do in Drop Nation, is not have all the right answers, but ask the right questions. We do our best to ask the right questions. Now let's go back to Daniel. Now that we can see the phantoms and duplications. Yosef the Real Ben bringing that out, man. Doing an excellent job, excellent work. All praise HaWah for the bro. So Anan ben David and his bro, Daniel, were having an issue over what? Daniel favored a rigorous interpretation of this Torah. The following decisions of his have been preserved. It is forbidden to do any work, whatever, on the Sabbath, even to clean the hands with powder, or to have any work done on the Sabbath by a non-Jew, whether gratuitously or for wages or any other compensation. The burning of lights is forbidden not only on Friday evenings, but also on the events of the festivals in the description in Levi or Leviticus. I guess that's 23, verse 40, of the trees, which according to Daniel were used to erect the sukkah. The phrase Perez Hadar, the fruit of goodly trees is more definitely explained by kapot tamarim, branches of palms, the palm being distinguished for its beauty. There is undeniable evidence. We're just talking about, whoa, 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 whoa. All right, pay attention, because we just said Anam ben David wrote the code, right? And we've been digging this, get parts 1 through 3 of the Sefer HaMitzvot. We're going to keep it going. We're going to try to get all of them, man. It's going to take some time, but steady water, all right? So who wrote the Sefer HaMitzvot? They say Rambam, right? Rambam. Rambam. All right. It said he was 33, so that's 33 plus 1135, 1168. Did Moses, Rambam, write the code in 1168? The Sefer HaMitzvot, Book of Commandments? 613? Is this what Moshe wrote, Rambam? Or is this what Anam ben David wrote? Come on, man. Or there's another suspect that just popped up in real time. If this is Daniel, which is looking like more and more, and this might solidify it right here, because he's also one of the most prominent early scholars. Anam ben David is the most prominent, right? Now Daniel's the most prominent. And then Moses Maimonides is the most prominent. Ranks among the greatest and most innovative Jewish legal texts of all time, right? This is the Mishnah Torah. A towering figure, the most prominent, a towering figure. So Moshe ben Maimon's the most prominent. He's a towering figure. Anam ben David's the most prominent. Daniel's the most prominent. Now watch this. Who's the third suspect of who wrote the Sefer HaMitzvot? Daniel wrote several works in the Hebrew language, all of which have been lost. Fucking lost. This is the only one they got right here. Fucking lost. So all of Daniel, King David's second son of David, all of his works, except for a few quotations and fragments, have been lost, just like the works of Maimon, Amram, Rambam, Anan, Rambam, Amram, Maimon. How many times they gonna play with us? Who wrote the code? David, Anan, Daniel, or Moses? Who wrote the code? Who wrote the code? And are they all just one and the same? Or a very tight connection, tighter than tight, like brothers, a brotherhood, or the same? Daniel wrote several works in Hebrew. There is undeniable evidence that he compiled a legal code. The Sefer HaMitzvot, Book of Commandments. I'm out of here, people. Whoa, I didn't see this coming. I didn't see this. I didn't see Daniel being a new suspect. This is the Prester John investigation. First, I didn't know what I was, really dropping on. I was just had some time to drop, and it became the Prester John investigation. This has morphed in front of your very eyes into Prester John number 50. And that's how I wanted to pop off Prester John number 50. And don't trip, because we're going to go to Prester John number 60 for the homie Nip, rest in power, to Nipsey Hussle, the great neighborhood Nip. We're going to go to Prester John 60 because we do it for the street. We do it for the prisoners behind the wall. We do it for the real ones, from plane to plane. So, hey, hi, man. Y'all seen the metamorphosis of Prester John 50 right before your eyes, because I promise you, I didn't intend for it to be. If I did, I probably wouldn't have done it now, because I would have thought, I don't got time for that. Right now, I don't have time to dig like I want to dig. But you know what? HaWah made us dig like we want to dig. This is HaWah's, Prester John 50. This is dedicated to HaWah, Halal HaWah, Shabat Shalawam, to the tribe, Shabata. All praise our, magnificent, patient, loving creator that is patient with his children at all times, patient with his children at all times, fighting for his children. Prester John 50, let go. Who wrote the code? Who wrote the code? Who wrote the code? It looked like Daniel wrote the code. This is undeniable evidence that he compiled a legal code, the Sefer HaMitzvot. Who's surfing away? So you see how they hide our history and they act like, oh, Rabbi this, Aaron, Ben Elijah. They're talking about the real people. They just got their names, kind of funky. Kind of funky. All right. So Daniel also wrote the Sefer HaMitzvot, Book of Commandments, and a work on the rights of inheritance, the latter against which Sadia directed his polemic. So when they say that all these other codes were written by Moses Maimonides, right? When they say Moses wrote this code, Moses Rambam wrote the Sefer HaMitzvot, right? And these are all these books that are also attributed to Moses. The book of Judges, the book of civil laws, acquisitions, damages, purity, sacrifices, utterances, holiness, book of women, family law. So Moses wrote a lot, man. Or Daniel wrote a lot, man. Remember they say Daniel's stuff was lost. Is it just found but under a different name, title, place, time? Remember the 3 major chronological time shifts? Are these all the works of Daniel? Or are we just talking Anan? Anan ben David, who also wrote the Sefer HaMitzvot, Book of Precepts. Nah, man. Daniel wrote the code, the Sefer HaMitzvot, Book of Commandments. Now check it. He also wrote commentaries on the Pentateuch, to Joshua, and to Judges. We're just talking about a book of Judges, the Sefer Shoftim. Uh-oh. Daniel's books are popping up because Daniel also wrote what they call commentaries, all right? So that's the translation. Did he write Judges, all right? They were not running commentaries, but explanations to certain passages and contain also digressions. All right. So remember, he got two surnames. It's shown by his two surnames, the latter of which is found in Kirkasani. And then we also got that this Kirkasani had mentioned, something to do with it. So let's go to this Kirkasani. Pull up the link. You're just talking Jacob now. A Cariot dogmatist. So he's a Cariot. Dodge the hijack. I know. Dodge the fucking hijack. All right. Now he's a also prominent person, right? He's a Cariot. Exegete, who flourished in the first half of the 10th century, 900s, was a native of Circassia. His Iqab al-Kirsami, the Circassian, almost sounds like circumcision, huh? Which at the time probably still fell under Khazar overlordship. Remember the Black Khazarians, all right? We're just talking Constantinople, Khazaria, Mazaka, Mosak, back to Moses. Let's go. (937) Kirkasani wrote an Arabic work, on the Jewish precepts. So he may have written it in Arabic, but he wrote it about the Hebrew commandments. So this is another Hebrew, even though they're trying to tie him into Arabic, all right? Under the title Kitab al-Anwar, all right, known in Hebrew, the Sefer HaMeorah. All right, so we got another Sefer written by Jacob with the subtitle Kitab al-Shari Sefer Mitzvot. Uh-oh. Another Sefer Mitzvot, Jacob. And the commentary entitled Al-Rahad Hadik Sefer Haganah on those portions of Torah which do not deal with the laws. Interesting, huh? Have y'all ever heard of Jacob Kirkasani? The first of Kirkasani's magnum opus is the most important, which not only provides valuable information concerning the development of Kara Katai, but throws light also on many questions in Rabbinic Judaism. It comprises 13 treaties, each divided into chapters, and the first 4 treaties from an introduction to the whole work. In the first treatise of 18 chapters, Kirkasani gives a comprehensive survey of the development of Hebrew movements. I dodged a hijack. The material for which he drew not only from the works of his predecessors, David, whom he mentions, but also from his personal appearances in the learned circles in which he moved. The enumeration of the sects is given in chronological order, beginning with the Samaritans and concluding with the sect founded by Daniel. So Daniel got his own group. Anan got his own group. Maimonides got his own group, right? Is it all the same? Or is this just the same family of Davids? Same family of Davids, at least. Kirkasani declares the Rabbinites, to be a Jewish sect of Jeroboam. Remember King Jeroboam. Let's go. Although it did not make its appearance until the time of the Second Temple, in opposition to them, Zadok, a disciple of Antigonus of Sako and founder of his own sect, revealed part of the truth on religious subjects, while Anan bin David disclosed the whole. So he gave part of the truth. Anan was giving all the drop. This is why you never hear of Anan or the Karites, but now you know we're just talking Kara Katai, Black Cat They. I mean, wow. It truly is moving water around here. Truly is moving water around here. Like, wow. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Katai, Cathay, Kara, Black. And we're going to get on these kins. We're going to get back on these kins. So you got this sect of Jeroboam, or this group over here, all right? And you got this, in opposition to them, Zadok revealed part of the truth, while Anan ben David disclosed the whole. So Zadok was giving part of the truth, Anan was giving the whole according to them, all right? However, in spite of Kirkasani's admiration for Anan, so both Daniel was admiring Anan at one time, Kirkasani was admiring Anan. So Anan must have been, pretty admirable. You know what I mean? However, they changed whatever views they got in their own sects. He often disagreed with him in explanation of certain precepts. All right, so they both had their own explanation. Now check this right here. Let's talk about Christianity, because some of our brothers and sisters today are still practicing Christianity in the deepest way, deeper than deep. Because once you are in an indigenous Hebrew mentality and you're still connecting to this, Hamashiach, Yahweh situation, you're in deeper than a Christian at this point, because you've paved your own path to hijack yourself. You've tied in and syncretinized a poo sandwich of something that was symbolic of you, reflecting you. And you tied it into Genesis, and you tied it in all over the place so that you can find Christ all over the place. And all you did was hijack left and right from your mama, from your Abba. So now we're venerating and idolizing a Yahweh Shai, a son, instead of the actual messenger. Who's the messenger? Who's the anointed king? If you're not going to find no land named Jesus, but you might find the land of Prester John, priest, king, Wang. You might find a superior land that you are the Khan and that you connect to in reality. And these ancestors will return. Not Jesus, your ancestors. Your ancestors. Let's go. But what happened? Let's clarify it for the brothers and sisters that's still in Christianity. Kirkasani includes Christianity among the Jewish sects. In the third treatise, he says that the religion of the... Now he got it right. Yeah, man, look at this. Bullshit fucking Christians. That's a keeper right there. As practiced at present, has nothing in common with the bullshit teachings of Isus. So let's stop bullshitting for a second. So he's saying that there's major differences in how they rolled out Christianity. All right. But let's even look further at this. This Kirkasani, this Jacob is saying that the Christian religion has nothing in common with the teachings of Jesus, right? With what it's supposed to be taught, right? What's supposed to come out of his mouth, you know what I'm saying? And you know, being all about the Israelites, because the Christians took it a step further and they don't even give a fuck. Christians don't care about Israelites. They say they're the new Israelites, they're spiritual Israel, you know what I mean? Screw all that. Even though in Revelations it says that the Jerusalem will fall like a bride prepared for her groom. There'll be 12 gates for the 12 tribes. But if you ask the modern Christian, well, what about the Israelites? They're like, oh, okay. What do you mean, the state of Israel? Or nah, my naga, I'm saying you are the tribes of Israel that's going through the 12 gates. And if there's 12 gates, that means it's important. That means that they're going to come back and these tribes are going to be redeemed. Now, if that's not taught in Christianity, then that's not even the teachings of this Jesus. But we're really talking Joshua, aren't we? And what we're really saying here is that this Christianity has nothing in common with Joshua. Jesus is the reflection of Joshua. There's two Joshuas, right? There's only one Quetzalcoatl and one real Joshua. And the teachings of this bullshit fucking Christianity has nothing in common with the real Joshua. And definitely nothing in common with bullshit Jesus. According to Kirkasani, the Christianity of his day originated with Paul the Apostle. And love to tie a battle because it's a simple question. What does Paul, let's go. Let's do this for the dismount. Prester John 50, we popping off. We will do 51. We're going to come back with some giveaways for 51. You know what I mean? Because I didn't even know this was coming up. So this caught me off guard. So we're going to do our giveaways. Maybe do like a live, premiere, something like that of 51. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll do a premiere of this one. Maybe we'll do a premiere of this one. Yeah, all right. So if you're watching this might be on the premiere, man. But yeah, let's go, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Much a to get the Prester John 50 is truly Baruch. It means that we've had dedication through many years, you know what I mean? And we did it together and we had an investigation that we can tell anybody, hey, go get that playlist, you know what I mean? We got the playlist right on 432thedrop.com. So if you ever just want the playlist or, we made a playlist on YouTube, you can check it out. But anytime you want to just fall back and just get it over and over again, man, and just surf the wave 1 through 50, man, 1 through 60, man, we got that for you. So this is basically our signature series because Prester John combines everything. It combines the orientation of HaWah, you know what I mean? It combines, the search for David, Hosea 3 and 5, man. Search for Dawid. HaWah. Hosea 3 and 5. I mean, Prester John, Priest Kings, looking for this black man, right? Looking for this black man, this Katai, this Karite, this Kariot. So when we talking non-Ben David, this the picture I want you to remember. When we talk Prester John, this is the picture. I mean, this gives you an idea of what we're talking about. When we talk Cathay, we're talking Cathnis, which means we're talking you, the priests, the knights. And when we search for Prester John, we take it back to Joshua, which is Hosea. Joshua is Hosea. Let's get it out to sea. SB. Hosea 3, verse 4, for the Israelites must live many days without king or prince. So without your priesthood, without your Khan, without your priest king, without sacrifice, sacred pillar, without ephod or household items. Afterward, the people of Israel will return. HaWah, welcome back. And seek HaWah and David, their king. When? Afterward. When? In the last days. What days? The last days. This is a prophecy, my nigga. You're in the last days of this particular flow. We in the third wave. We still popping off. And we are beginning to return and seek, which means to investigate, right? So we are in a Prester John number 50 investigation, seeking HaWah and David. Asking questions like, did a black man, Prester Wang, King David, did he discover the fountain of youth? And does that mean he's immortal? So when you're now seeking him in the last days, David, in the last days, you're seeking a Khan that is immortal with the fountain of youth. Get all this drop. Whoever drinks of his waters 3 times without having eaten will have no illness for 30 years. And when he has drunk of it, he will feel as if he has the finest meats and spices, for it is full of HaWah's grace. A person who bathes in this fountain, whether he be of 100 or 1,000 years, will regain the age of 32. How many baths did you take, Priest King, Prester John, King David? Know that we were born and blessed in the womb of our mama 562 years ago. This letter is written in 1165, people. So you're going to have to go back 562 years from 1165 to know when Anan ben David, or this David, because this is the Anan ben David, right? So his dad, David, or his granddad, or great grandpops, or whichever Raja Haraja you want to talk about, to know this estimated date of this arrival, you're going to have to get the drop when you talk about Prester John. No, we're just talking about more recently, 1200. In other words, since we have bathed in the fountain 6 times, so they took 6 baths. In other words, Prester John was letting readers know that by the miracle of the fountain of youth, he was 562 years old and going strong. As a result of this interpolation, building on the fountain of youth, Herodotus has identified Ethiopia 1,500 years before. Europe's difficulty in making contact with Prester John then was of no moment. Silverberg agrees, for he was immortal. Oh my goodness. For the Israelites will live many days without a king and prince, man, without a priest, king, Khan. Afterwards, the children of Israel will return, seek HaWah, their power, and David. Why? In the last days, are you seeking David? Because David is immortal. He was 562 years and going strong. That means he wasn't dying off. That means Genghis Khan never killed him. He's coming back. Prester John. Prester John. Black. Black. Qatar. Qatar Kate. Who wrote the code? Now, according to Jacob Kirkasani, the Christianity of his day originated with Paul, who ascribed divinity to Jesus. So now we got HaWah has all this divinity. He's mentioned all throughout. He's the image in Genesis, 1:26, you know what I mean? He's all this stuff. But Paul gave you the drop. That's why you love Paul so much. Even Paul said he's of Benjamin, right? Now, I love to tie battle. Who has much drop we're going to get to on this. Paul the Apostle have anything to do with Marco Polo? Oh, yeah, I like how they do that. They put some famous people so that you got to research even more. Marco Polo is Marco Paul. She dropped some specific drops, so I can't wait to dig on the drop that she dropped, man. It was breaking it all the way down. These show the routes of Marco Paul or Polo. Uh-oh. Just surfing the wave. Yeah, we're just talking about Marco Polo or Paul. Body bag, Daniel. No, I mean body bag, Daniel. Body bag for the illusion. Because when we talk Polo, we're just talking Paul. Marco Polo's kingdoms were placed close at hand. He placed Prester John not very far from Mexico. Marco Paul, right? Paul was exploring, right? Marco Polo was exploring, right? Huh? TaWaDah got the drop. Our sisters, our HaWahs got the drop. For real, this is Drop Nation. Marco Polo or the Apostle Paul. You're just talking Genghis Khan, right? You're just talking the Vatican. You're just talking the Vatican, which is also Batu Khan. Khan? Now that we can overstand, when we talk Paul, we're talking Polo. You're talking Genghis Khan. When you talk Vatican, you're talking Batu Khan. Come on, don't play with me now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This was actually pointed out in that $1,000 book, $999 it costs on Amazon. And it's the grandson of Genghis Khan. You dig on it. 13 Vatican reveals secret archives. Genghis Khan's grandson demanding homage from the Pope. Because he was the original Pope. Well, not the original, because that's just the priest king, right? So this is after Genghis Khan stole the Khan from Prester John, came to your land, right? Had a war, took the Khan. Now he's Prester John. Now he's King David. Now he's the Khan. And that's when the Vatican popped off. Just surfing away, man. Who controls the past, controls the future. Put the link. Lord of the West, Batu Khan. Look at that brother right there, man. He became the great Khan, huh? I'm just surfing through this. And what's all this again have to do with the Grand Canyon? Just surfing away. It is the reason for the color of the Vatican, Batu Khan, yellow or golden. So the Vatican is Batu Khan. Khan. All these are Khans. Innocent the Third. All these are Khans, man. Mongols, the Khanate, the Great Khanate, the Russian horde. Who's the Rus? Who's the Rus? Who's the Rus? Who's the Rus? Who's the Mongol? Who's the Greats? So this is a war, more and more, Khan on Khan. Everybody wanted the title. Everybody wanted the land of the Khan, right? The good land, the India superior land, right? And you got Marco Polo or Paul, who's placed in Prester John right near Mexico. This is Paul, connected with this anointed Christianity, which got connected with this Vatican, connected with this Batu Khan. Now that we can overstand that Vatican is Batu Khan. And Marco Polo is just talking about Paul. Aquatai, you got the drive. By the way, did a black man discover the fountain of youth? And who wrote the code? Was it Anan ben David? In the year 770 AD? Was it his brother Daniel? Was it Moshe Maimonides? (770) Anan wrote the code, Sefer HaMitzvot. Oh, nah. Daniel. Daniel wrote several works in Hebrew. They were lost, though. Fucking lost. Compiled a legal code, the Sefer HaMitzvot. Huh. Nah. Moses wrote all these books, or all these Daniel's books, or all these Anan's books, because they seem to all be writing the same Sefer HaMitzvot, Book of Commandments, and all these other books. But all this has to do with the Kariots and the Katai, and these are all connected with the families of Wang Khan. And what's Jacob Kirkasani talking about? What's Jacob talking about? He's saying that nothing that this Christianity is really backing up with this Joshua is supposed to be kicking. That Christianity of his day originated with Paul or Polo or Vatican or Batucan or Genghis Khan, who wrote up on Prester John, who ascribed divinity to this Zeus and a prophetic inspiration to himself. Now he's a prophet. Now Marco Polo's a prophet. Now Genghis Khan is God. I mean, he became God, all right? And then his sons are sons of God. So now they're the Isuses. They're the Isu. It was Paul or Polo that denied the necessity of carrying out the 613 commandments. So Marco Polo or Paul denied the commandments. Now you got the Vatican, Batucan teaching, and taught that religion consisted in humility, and the First Council of Nicaea adopted precepts which did not occur in the law, Gospels, or Acts of this bullshit fucking apostle. Got that right, man. You got that right. And it goes in, man. So they were against any hijack. They were trying to be hijack free. These Carians, even fighting amongst themselves, Daniels and Anons, they try to get the pure water. That's all they wanted was the pure water. They all respected each other. It ain't like they were killing each other and nothing. They were just trying to get that water, that pure water. And that's that Kirkasani drop. So that's that Jacob drop, this Daniel drop. Now they say Kirkasani also wrote amazing documents too. Hold up. Now the tradition persists in the Sefer HaKabbalah of Abraham, Dawood, David. Man, you see how much we got to dig on? Which adds that Anan was descended from the Davidic line. So he's a David. But as he showed heretical tendencies, he was not named Exilart. A more detailed version of the story is quoted by the 12th century Cariot Elijah, all right, who ascribes it to the 9th century Rabbinites. In this version, the Exilart was given to Anan's younger brother. See how they had issues? Who's going to be the leader? Who's going to be the Exilart during this Babylonian captivity, or this Genghis Khan captivity? All right. Anan thereupon rallied a group of sectarians who set him up as their own Exilart. This led to his arrest. He was sentenced to death for defying. Remember, they're trying to assassinate him for defying the caliph's confirmation of his brother. Now, listen up, man. This is the issue. It ain't that Anan wanted to shine on him. All right, let's get this for the dismount. Now, let's get it. So here's the story. It ain't that Anan wanted to shine on him, right? It's that his younger brother was set up by the who? The caliph. Now, this is Babylonian Exilart. So this caliph must be one of the sultans or, rulers of Babylon who's, oppressing Israel, right? So this is an oppression. This is an invasion. This is a Babylonian captivity. The caliph could be one of Genghis Khan's people, right? So this caliph is now he's appointing Anan's younger brother instead of Anan. The only reason why Anan wasn't named Exilart and his younger brother was named Exilart is because this caliph wanted to confirm it, the caliph's confirmation. So it wasn't pure water. That's why they say, well, we're going to do it ourselves. We're going to, make sure you got your office ourselves. We're going to get you your spot ourselves. So the Exilart was given to Anan's younger brother by who? The caliph. right? So it wasn't by the Hebrews. So the Hebrews had to rally and put their own exilarch up, because in captivity they would put an exilarch over you from your family, though. So, wow. I mean, how does this add up with this Daniel situation, y'all? Right? This is for the dismount, man. This want to be the greatest dismount of all time. I mean, for real, we're talking Daniel, his attitude to Anan ben David is yada yada. And if Daniel's the second son of David, and Anan's the son of David, and the caliph, which is probably Nebuchadnezzar, follow the flow. Is it Nebuchadnezzar? Remember in that story when he rose Daniel up, when he raised Daniel up? Let's get it, man. This is beautiful. For the dismount. Wow. So we got Daniel, starting to overstand in Daniel chapter 9, verse 27, and he shall make a firm covenant with many for a week, and for a half a week he shall cause the sacrifice of the offering to cease. All right, so let's go. All right, now you got Cyrus, king of Persia. A word was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, and the word was true, even a great warfare, and he gave heed to the word, and he had understanding of the vision. Now, hold on, I want to get it back right quick. Before they even talk this Cyrus talk, let's go back to Nebuchadnezzar. Because Nebuchadnezzar named him Belteshazzar. Old Belteshazzar, master of the magicians, huh? So he saw this dream, he was afraid. All right, there we go. Belteshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation affright thee. Belteshazzar answered, and he said, my lord, the dream be to them that hate thee. So he told him the dream. Verse 25, and it came upon King Nebuchadnezzar at the end of 12 months. He was walking upon the royal palace of Babylon. The king spoke and said, it's not this great Babylon which I have built for a royal dwelling place. Now keep thinking about the Khan dynasty, but the hijacks, you know what I'm saying? Think about Genghis and Batu as we, read this. O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departing from thee. All right, verse 30, the same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and he did eat grass and oxen. All right, so he went through this transformation, right? Then he finally blessed the Most High. At the same time, my understanding returned unto me, and for the glory of the kingdom, my majesty and my splendor returned unto me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven. So now he's getting it, right? Now he's getting it. Let's go, let's go, let's go for the dismount. Belshazzar, the king, made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which Nebuchadnezzar, his father, had made out of the temple which was in Jerusalem. Let's go. Then was Daniel brought in before the king. The king spoke and said to Daniel, "Art thou Daniel, who is the children of the captivity of Judah?" Right? So we're talking about Daniel during captivity. During captivity. Talking to Carians. And they're trying to dodge all these hijacks. Like Anan, Benjamin, you got Ishmael. Daniel forbade the eating of those animals used for sacrifice. So he's just trying to keep it to the code. Why? Because remember, he's one of the 4 sinless men, right? We're talking Kiliab, right? Kiliab, also known as Daniel, the second son of David, king of Israel. David, Kiliab, second son of David. Unlike his yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. This is the dismount we be talking about. Unlike the other of David's 3 elder sons. So you got Daniel, you got his older sons, right? You got Adonijah, Absalom, right? You also got Solomon, right? You got Amnon. What's this got to do with Anan? What does Amnon have to do with Anan? Who were important characters in 2 Samuel. Kiliab is the only one named in the list of David's sons, and no further mention of him is made. They are hiding Daniel. Even though there's a book of Daniel, it doesn't mention that he's the second son of David, king of Israel. And that's very important, which means they're hiding something. No further mention is made of him. Though being the second son, Kiliab was not a contender for the throne of Israel, even after the death of the firstborn Amnon, or Anan. Anan who? So they're all writing the code, right? In their own way. Anan ben David, or Amnon, huh? Who's writing the code in 770, who wrote the definitive code of his order, all right? Amnon, or Anan. 1-letter rule, let's go. He may have died before his father. Did Daniel die before David? Well, I guess the real question is, did a black man discover the fountain of youth? Because anybody would die before David when he's 562 years and going strong. For he for he was immortal. Anybody would die before David, for he's immortal. Hosea 3 and 5, for the Israelites will return, seek HaWah and David, for he is immortal. In the last days, for he is immortal. Now David's sons, now remember, all of them are immortal in that sense because David, or Daniel, the second son of David, later rabbinic traditions name him as one of the 4 ancient Israelites who died without sin. He is a sinless man. So this is why he's trying to keep it to the code. This is why he's fighting Anan or his brothers about the code. Benjamin is also sticking to the code. Yeshai, David's father. So David comes from this code. His dad is a sinless man. His son is sinless. His sons are righteous. Even if they're not perfect, they're righteous. And Amram is the father of Moses. Moses who? Maimon, Amram, or Ramban? We just talking Moses, Ramban, who also wrote the same code, right? Sefer HaMitzvot. Same code as Daniel. Daniel wrote several works, legal code, Sefer HaMitzvot. And now we see why he was up against his brother. Because one, his brother was put over him by the Caliph. Now who's the Caliph at this time? We're just talking Nebuchadnezzar, Genghis Khan and them. And then, did Genghis Khan or Nebuchadnezzar put Daniel over Anan? Probably, because Daniel was rocking with the Caliph. So it would make sense that the Caliph would choose Daniel to be the exilarch in his own way over Anan. Daniel, who was of the children of the captivity, Babylonian exilarch. Let's go. Let thy gifts be to thyself. So he said, man, I heard you can interpret and loose knots. Now, if thou can read the writing and make known to me the interpretation, you shall be clothed with purple. Man, I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to put gold around your neck. And you shall rule as one of the 3 kingdoms. Body bag, Daniel. Daniel. So he was putting Daniel over him, over Anan. Where's that drop on Anan? Which adds that Anan was descended from David, but he showed heretical tendencies. He was not named exilarch. Anan's younger brother, remember Daniel is younger than Anan, right? Daniel died without sin. He is of his 3 elder sons, right? So Daniel, right, son of David. David has 3 older sons, Anan or Amnon, Absalom, and Adonijah, right? Older sons. So let's go back. We surfing the wave for real right now, man. This is dope. This is one of the dopest wave surfs of all time for us, man. And Halal HaWah. This is super dope. I'm so grateful that it's Prester John 50 popping off. Halal HaWah. In this version, the exilarch or Exilakot, was given to Anan's younger brother, or Amnon's younger brother, who? Daniel. All right. Anan thereupon rallied a group of sectarians who set him up as their own exilarch. So you see the story coming out. Nebuchadnezzar appointed Daniel. He wanted to give Daniel, he said, you shall rule as one of three in the kingdom. Now, Daniel surely deserves to be raised up, but we're not really overstanding that Israel has to choose their exilarch, and it has to be, along their flow. And Anan was supposed to, I guess, get that drop at that time. Anan was supposed to get the drop. So his younger brother instead was given, and then they had to rally up so that they had their own Davidic exilarch, their own leader from Israel, chosen by Israel. Even though Daniel surely, deserved to be raised up, from their perspective, oh man, the hijack is anointing you over everybody. Israel's not anointing you over everybody. Genghis Khan is, or Nebuchadnezzar is, or Shalmaneser, or Vatican, or the Batu Khan is anointing you. The invader is anointing you, not us. So what did Anan do? He rallied a group, he tribed up, and they set him up as their own exilarch. This led to his arrest by who? Genghis Khan and him, or Nebuchadnezzar. All right, we put it together. He was sentenced to death. Remember, they tried to assassinate him by refusing the caliph, or the hijack's confirmation of his brother. Right? So now Anan is being jammed up because his brother David, his younger brother, right? David's three older sons is Amnon, is being raised up by who? Nebuchadnezzar. So he's putting Belshazzar up. Then commanded Belshazzar that they clothe Daniel with purple and put a chain of gold around his neck, and made proclamation concerning him that he should rule as one of the three in the kingdom. And that night Belshazzar the Chaldean king was slain, and Darius the Medes received the kingdom, being about 62, so he's 30-something, 32 years old. So now they changed rulerships under the Babylonian kingdom. So now, even though Daniel was raised up, he has to now prove it all the way again. You know what I'm saying? But he was raised up for a second under Nebuchadnezzar, or Belshazzar, and was clothed with purple, a gold around his neck. Made proclamation concerning him. He's going to rule. He should rule. So he was raised up as a ruler. Now we've compared, and all praise HaWah, put together the storyline of the script with the proper timeline that's really popping off at least. At least. HaWah. Shabbat Shalawam. We're talking to Nan, right? Or Amnon. Let's go. At least in 770. Which lines up with the Forbidden Histories of America by Daniel Lowe. Sylvanus told Texas. Remember Solomon the Builder? Who's Solomon the son of? David. That would make Daniel Solomon's brother. This is all happening. Whether at 700s or whether we're talking about the same code, same exact code, again, that's popping off with Moshe, Sefer HaMitzvot, way over here in the 12th century, which might push all this Daniel, all this Babylonian stuff to the 12th century, 13th century. We're talking Amnon or Anan. It means faithful. The oldest son of David. So he was supposed to be exilarch. He's the oldest son of King David. He's the oldest son of David. Although he was heir apparent to David's throne, Amnon is best remembered for the rape of his half-sister Tamar, daughter of David and Maacah. Despite the biblical prohibition of sexual relations between half-brother and sisters, Amnon had an overwhelming desire for her. So is this why Amnon or Anan is not mentioned? Okay, let's go back. Is this why he's not mentioned as one of the Israelites, ancient Israelites, that died without sin? Just like David, murdered a man to get to that Bathsheba situation. And Solomon came out of that, right? Did Amnon, go through that rape situation and, whatever the case was? And that's why he's not mentioned as a sinless man. But you know who is? Daniel is. And who was supposed to get the Khan? Well, Nan is the oldest son, right? He's supposed to get the Khan, but it was given to Daniel by way of this caliph. But the creator is always at work, just like he raised up Cyrus, right, in the Babylonian captivity. So really, it went to the right person. It went to the sinless man. It went to Daniel for that time period. A fellow prisoner identified in another Cariot work as the Muslim jurist theologian, founder of the Hanafite school of Muslim jurisprudence, advised him to bribe the officials and obtain a hearing before the caliph in order to claim that he represented a different faith distinct from that of his brother. So they were about to put him to death. He's going through trials for his life, man. And this is all really happening. That's why we are bringing this out through this Kirkasani. None of them survived. The Ananites steadily decreased in number and were absorbed into the later Cariates. So this particular group, rocking with Anam and David, later had to rock and tribe up with the other Cariates under Daniel, under Jacob, under, what was the other one? Daniel, Jacob. Of course, you got the Wang, Prester John. You got the Moses Maimonides representing these Cariates, So these Kara, remember, just is referring to this blackness. And is Daniel being lifted up by Nebuchadnezzar? And is that why they had to form their particular Ananite situation and, anoint Anan secretly as Exarch because he was the oldest son of David? Kara, the Kara, the black ones. Did a black man discover the fountain of youth, the immortal priest king? For he was immortal and could wait a while longer to be discovered. Prester John was in the most exclusive club of personalities who had staying power for centuries, not years or minutes. Staying power. Staying power means what? That in the last days, you're still going to be searching. As you search for your creator, you also search for the Khan. Staying power. Because they were looking for him for oh so long. $500 years, 1145 to 1645. He was immortal. He had staying power. He was 562 years old. 500 years, 562 years old. Who is Prester John? Who's Prester John? The people of Israel will return, seek HaWah and David. Who is Prester John? 500 years. Who wrote the code? HaWah for surfing the wave for real. Like you seen the metamorphosis of Prester John 50, right? In your face bone. I didn't see it coming. They didn't see it coming. But it's here. Shabbat Shalawam, man, to the home team. Halal, HaWah. Enjoy the flow. Download the app so you're surfing the wave all Shabbat long. Not just on YouTube, but in real time. HaWah to the Ether Squad for putting in them rounds, dodging a hijack, and body bagging the illusion. All praise our creator. Halal, HaWah.